Hi guys, I'm Darcy. I'm here today to talk about beta reading. So I submitted a class proposal to the ANWA Conference, that's the American Night Writers Association Conference. This is held every year in September in the Phoenix, Mesa, Gilbert area. It's actually in Gilbert, but it's Phoenix area, so. And it's an awesome conference. It's very small. At the time of recording this, I think they only have about 60 spots left. So if you want to come, you should, because it's really awesome. Anyway, so I submitted a class proposal about beta reading because I do a lot of it for a lot of people. And I got chosen to do it. So I'm super excited. It's been on my mind. I'm going to kind of try to, the class is going to be like 50 minutes and I'm going to condense it down to hopefully 5 if I can. I'm going to talk really fast, so here we go. First off, I want to define a few terms. I've heard people use the terms alpha reader, beta reader, and gamma reader. This is mostly from Brandon Sanderson and the way that he and his team run their reads, right? So his alpha readers are his agent, his very close friends, his writing group, and his beta readers are fans, acquaintances of his, people that he and his editorial assistant trust and have invited to read. And gamma readers are that same second group of people, but the difference is their beta readers give reader feedback. They look for inconsistencies. They look for plot holes that bother them, or things that knock them out of the story. Their gamma read is basically like a line edit. Like they're looking for, inconsistencies in the formatting and punctuation and grammar and things like that. For most people, the alpha readers and the beta readers are basically the same. They're your critique partners, they're your friends, they're the people that you trust to give you feedback on your work. What kind of feedback you get depends on what you ask them for. When you invite someone to read for you, you want to keep 2 things in mind. One is the kind of feedback that you want from them. Once you kind of get to know a person as a reader, you'll know what they're good at, and then you can, if you have a problem with that thing, you can go to that person. If you just want general feedback, just ask them for general feedback, ask them for their reactions, ask them to watch for inconsistencies in the characters or the timeline or whatever. And the second thing you want to ask people to watch out for and to note is things that they enjoy. So definitely ask them to mark places where they laughed or they cried or they had an intense reaction, right? Depending on those reactions, maybe that's what you were going for. That's awesome. And you'll be like, yes, perfect. If it wasn't what you were going for, but the same holds true for when you read for someone else. Make sure that you ask them what kind of feedback they're looking for, whether it's plot holes or character arc problems or pacing, whatever it is. Make sure that when you are reading for them, you look for what they asked you to look for. As a side note, the more you read for other people, the more you're gonna learn what you're good at. For example, the thing that I'm really good at is just giving reader reactions. Like, I get really into a story really fast, and I can tell you like when something is really gripping. Like when a situation has me really entrenched in it and I'm stuck. And because of that, I can tell you the things that knock me out of the story, right? I'm very good at stopping and saying, wait, that was weird. I don't know. It's a weird thing to be good at, but I do feel like it's what I do. So whenever I'm beta reading for someone, no matter who it is, I tend to react emotionally to intense scenes or to character moments, things like that. So once you've gotten feedback from this reader, whoever they are, take a couple of days to decide how or if to implement it. And you want to keep a few things in mind. First is that not all feedback is created equal. You're not going to like everything that you hear, and that's okay. Some of it will be good for the story regardless. Some of it may not be good for the story regardless. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. The second thing to keep in mind is that it is your story. Only take feedback that fits with your vision of the story, okay? It's gonna take practice to learn how to do this. It takes time. You have to have the vision for your story. You have to be able to take the feedback and say, okay, if I implement this, how could that change things? right? And then if it feels like a good thing, try it. You can always go back to the previous draft. Never delete your drafts, by the way. Always save them. The third thing is to throw away or ignore any feedback that just doesn't ring true for you. The biggest thing when looking at the feedback you receive is whether or not it helped you. If it helped you, that's great. You want to tell them thank you. You want to thank them regardless, right? But thank them right away and tell them, I'd love to have you read for me again. I'll let you know when I have something. If it didn't ring true for you, like if the feedback was just kind of weird, it didn't jive and it felt off, like maybe they were trying to get your story to be something that you don't want it to be, that's okay. Tell them thank you anyway. Thank them and say, it was great, I had fun, and move on. In my experience, there's kind of an unspoken rule that if someone doesn't come back and ask you to read for them again, that maybe your feedback wasn't right for them, and that's okay. I've honestly never had anyone be hurt or personally offended because I didn't come back and ask them to read for me again. I have had a few people ask me to read for them and offer to read for me, and have had to tell them, look, I have other beta readers, I have other feedback, I don't really need you to read for me right now, but thank you, and if you have to go out, if you have to if you have to say it out loud, then that's okay. Most people are super understanding and kind, and as long as you're polite about it, then it should be fine. I have been beta reading and having readers for the whole time I've been writing, past 7 or 8 years. And a lot of the feedback that I've gotten has been amazing and hard to take sometimes, because I've had people say, look, this sucks and you need to fix it. And I've also had people say, oh, this is amazing, when I feel like it's not. I've had a lot of beta readers and critique partners who have, we've kind of tested each other out, exchanged pages, and it just hasn't really worked out. And that's fine. I've also had critique partners where we read for each other through multiple manuscripts and then just kind of fell away, and that's okay too. The biggest factor for me in the beta reader critique partner relationship is honesty. If you appreciate someone, you let them know. You make it clear that you appreciate them reading for you and taking the time and giving you feedback. Also, if you enjoy reading for someone else, you express that gratitude. You say, I really loved this, I would love to do it again, I would love to, I'll make the time, that kind of thing. On the flip side of that, if someone asks you to read for them and you really don't have time, be honest. Say, my life is crazy right now, I'm under deadline, or I have all these things, I really can't right now, I'm so sorry, please ask me again another time, right? Honesty is the best policy when it comes to this, this relationship. And I really feel like when you're seeking out your beta readers and critique partners the first time, it's even more important, because you're going to have try-fail cycles in this, right? You're going to have people who read for you that just don't work. You're going to read for people and have your feedback just not work, right? Don't take it personally. It's not about you, it's about the feedback and the person and the story, and there's so many variables. My last piece of advice would be that when you're seeking out beta readers or critique partners, to look for people who are at your same level of experience in writing. Because if you try to get feedback from someone who's been writing longer, the critique that they give you might not be ready for yet. It's best, and I think most effective, to find a group of people who are kind of in the same place, writing wise, and grow together, learn and grow and teach each other. That's how a lot of writing groups form. That's how people learn their own strengths and weaknesses and feed off of each other, right? And that's what worked for me. So maybe that's not what works for you. I don't know. But get out there and ask people to read for you and offer to read for them. That's a great way to trick someone into being a critique partner, is offer to read their book, because people love when other people read their books. Anyway, this video is already really long, so I'm gonna stop there, and hopefully that helps a little bit. And if you want the full class and the chance to look at some pages and critique and see what kind of feedback other people give, and see my whole class, then you should come to ANWA in September, because it's awesome and it'll be super fun. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next week. Bye.